Hey guys, Bart from Bicycle Ride YouTube, Biloxi Bicycle Works, and you guys know I've been doing some bike shop diaries. I've been doing some videos on what it's like to run a bike shop in the beginning months of 2025, and there's a lot of doom and gloom in the industry. You know, a lot of people want to blame the big brands. So you can see I've got a Trek banner behind me, and I have a lot of Trek bikes in here. So I'm in a situation here in Biloxi, Mississippi. We don't have a factory store here. We don't have a Specialized factory store. We don't have a Trek factory store. We don't have a Giant factory store. You know, we don't have enough roofs per mile to justify a factory store going into the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So my situation with my vendors is probably a little bit different than someone who has had an IBD, independent bike shop, and one of the big boys plopped down a store within a few miles of them. So I'm not in that situation. If I was, I might have a different opinion. But to me, having a small brick and mortar like I have, and you know, people can walk up these stairs after the sale with their bicycle, and they do. I like having a manufacturer like Trek that has my back. If a customer walks up here and they've had a problem with their bike, let's say the hydraulics have failed on their bike, and it's not something we did in assembly. It's something that happened. You know, it's a mechanical part and it can go wrong. I can tell that customer, hey, we've got your back. You bought the right brand bike. I can get a warranty started right away and get your problem rectified. Sometimes, and we do a lot of custom bike builds out here, so I do deal with a lot of small bicycle companies that sometimes that doesn't get rectified so quick. I was a Specialized dealer, and I'm not here to bash any certain brand, but Specialized is not in my shop anymore. And this is after a long stint. I've been a Specialized fanboy for 30 plus years. The Bicycle Club gave me this a while ago, Mr. Specialized. I mean, you pretty much, over the last, 20 to 30 years, I've been racing and riding Specialized bikes. When I opened up this bike shop, we had a racing team, and my whole team was on Specialized bikes. They're good bikes. You know, I mean, some bikes have their problems, like the Specialized Diverge. You know, we had problems with that Future Shock, and then we couldn't get parts for that Future Shock. And I'm sure over the years, Trek has had their issues with a proprietary part that they put on their bikes. But, you know, Trek, there's a reason Trek, Cannondale, Giant, Specialized, you know, people refer to them as the big boys. And there's a reason, but you know, those big boys also put a lot of money into R&D, research and development, to elevate the cycling industry to the next level. So if you look at a lot of stuff that Specialized has done over the years, there's a lot of little brands that didn't have that type of money that copied what Specialized did, and they maybe, you know, did it even better. I don't want to, copy seems like a bad word, but learned off of that platform. I know over the years, you know, I wasn't a Trek fanboy, but I always knew Trek made good bikes. I talked to a lot of customers. There's a lot of people, even when I was a Specialized dealer, they call the bike shop and they ask for a Trek, or Treks. Like Treks is a bike. Trek is a brand, but it is just such a powerful brand that people relate Trek with a bike. You know, and people generally talk good about Treks. I've had a Trek for 15 or 20 years, and my next bike I want to buy is a Trek. Trek's based out of Wisconsin. I've never been to the Trek factory. I've never met John Burke. I'm fairly small Trek dealer. I don't even think Trek knows who I am. Oh, with Specialized, they knew who I was. You know, I got to do some Specialized events. I got to go out to Morgan Hill. I got to be privy to some of their bike unveiling. They also knew I had a YouTube channel. You know, Specialized treated me pretty good with stuff, and Trek doesn't even really know who I am. I wish they did, because you know, you guys see me reviewing like my gravel bike here. You know, Trek didn't buy that gravel bike for me. I bought that gravel bike. I do get a employee discount through Trek, and I have to go through training. So as I learn the Trek products, I get different tiers of discount on their products. But I'm curious about Trek, and actually I'm satisfying my curiosity because the Treks that I ride are amazing. This SL6 is an awesome bike, and it's not just because I sell them, it's because I'm riding this thing. You know, I started my YouTube channel before I ever had a bicycle shop. So I try to be very true to, you know, to what I review and my opinions of that. But believe me, people ask me to review Giant and stuff like that. I don't sell Giant. I don't have just a bunch of Giants laying around, and I'm small enough that Giant's not sending me bikes to try, you know. I mean, so there is some advantages for me as a small IBD to align myself with Trek. And one of those is for customer satisfaction. If I do have a problem, and bicycles get problems, it's very easy for me to start a warranty claim and follow that claim through so I can keep the customer informed. Sometimes these things don't happen overnight. I mean, if you break your Trek or something fails on your Trek on a Friday and you bring it in on a Saturday morning, a lot of times that's not enough time realistically for me to do a warranty. But usually by the next weekend, things are taken care of in most cases. I did have a problem with a frame. It was a Trek Madone. It wasn't the new Gen 8, it was a Gen 7. And the ISO speed had failed. That generation only came out a few years. Trek ended up warranting the whole frame for the guy. But then the guy wanted a special color that was a Project 1 color that was going to cost extra. Gosh, this whole thing turned into a mess. I was very transparent in the beginning. And in the end, when I had to charge the customer for the upgraded frame, he told me that there was the wrong color, or I don't know. The whole thing got messed up. We had to eat a bunch of labor on the frame swap. That didn't work out so good for anybody. Now that customer hasn't come back again. So after all that work, then I kept that original box. So I got the box and the barcode. If I ever see that guy again, I'm going to say, hey, look, this is the color you ordered. This is the color that was on the box. But the day he came in and he didn't want to pay his bill, I looked at him and I said, pay what you think is right. And just know you're kind of screwing the local bike shop here. But pay what you think is right, and what he thought was right, I guess he felt satisfied, and we didn't do so well on that deal. But anyway, to that effect, Trek as a dealer, even to my employees, they ask us to make the call a lot of times. If we have a problem, make the call, rectify the situation. I don't quite know how we get paid back for that in the long run. And when I talk about margins and us competing against our own manufacturers, well, Trek sends a lot of people my way through their website, through their marketing. You can buy direct off Trek, but if you buy within a certain geographical zone, I get a little bit of margin. I don't get a lot of margin. And a lot of times those customers will come in here and we do spend time fitting and talking with them, and then they can find out that Trek's going to give them an extra 15% discount or something on it, and they ended up buying the bikes off the website and get shipped here. We got to put them together and do the delivery. I did one today where a customer came in here to look for a bike, and he ended up buying the same bike I had in here. He bought from the website because I think he got a coupon. And I still spent time fitting him and helping him put the bike in the car. I mean, I spent a good hour with him today, and I mean, that didn't quite cover the margin we got off that bike. But in the long run, I do like dealing with Trek. They're a good company. They have my back. They're easy. When I call them, they answer. And there's usually several departments, and I have to say their customer service internally is good for me, the bike shop dealer. They realize my time is important, and they respect that. They realize my customers are their customers, and they respect that. I deal with Cannondale. I don't have a whole lot of Cannondale hanging in here, but they're a pretty good company to deal with too. And I think Cannondale's going to get stronger and stronger. They're doing some things to bring in manufacturing and assembly back to America again. So I've always been a kind of a Cannondale fan. Hopefully we'll see a lot coming out of Cannondale. I don't miss Specialized. There were some really cool dudes that worked at Specialized, and I think a lot of those moved on. My last rep was really cool. I got along with him real well. My business partner didn't so much, but he was out of Birmingham area. I'm not going to mention his name, but man, you treated me good. I appreciate you. But the margins on the Specialized side for an internal dealer like me didn't quite work out in a small shop like that. And I think if you can carry if you can drink the Specialized Kool-Aid and carry all their clothing and, you know, all different size runs, and if you can be a stocking dealer, they're, you know, probably a little bit different than just being a little bike shop like I am. But, well, you know, the Specialized products are good, and I do, you know, I still like Specialized stuff. I like working on a Specialized bike most of the time. They're good bikes to work on. It's just their dealer agreement and us didn't work out well. I'm happy I have Trek. There's a lot of smaller niche brands that I like, but it's hard for me to be a stocking dealer of some of those brands. So a lot of people buy custom frames and custom bars and stuff, and they bring them here, and we're happy to support that. I love building custom stuff. Eventually, I'd like to be more into that. I think that, you know, those kind of customers bring profitability and credibility to the bike shop. So, but for now, I'm happy with Trek. I can't tell you about all the internal dealings and the numbers and the percentages because that's kind of classified information. I've probably said too much already. But it's nice for me as a small bike shop to be associated with a big brand like Trek, and they do treat me pretty good. Now, there's not a whole lot of margin in the bicycle industry right now. I'm sure when that gets corrected, they'll correct their end again, and things can get back to normal. So right now, the big manufacturers are just trying to save their butts too. You know, they've got a lot of expense on raw materials, on labor, on shipping. You know, pretty soon on tariffs. I'm curious to see this Wisconsin area. Meet John Burke someday. That'd be great. But right now I've got a good rep. He's been with the company for 25 plus years. And if I need something, I can get a hold of him. He's actually stopped by the shop a few times. And last time he brought a Trek representative, I think from corporate. So I don't know. The good guys. And I got to say, all the guys that I dealt with at Specialized were good guys too. The bicycle industry is in some turmoil, and the industry leaders and companies they're trying to save their butts too. So direct consumer, I don't think is going away. It's nice when Trek sells a bike on their website in my area, and I still get something for it. It's much better for me to sell it from my shop, and I get a full margin share, which gets eroded really quick with the cost of brick and mortar. So anyway, that's my take on Trek as a small IBD that is far enough away from a factory store to not feel that threat. They're a fair company. And I do like how quick they can rectify situations, and that helps my reputation as a small bike shop in Biloxi, Mississippi. Your reputation gets around real quick, and if you can't take care of your customers, your business can go downhill real quick. So even though there's a lot of cool brands, there's a reason why I can't carry them all. because that costs a lot of money to hold that inventory. Trek ships their bikes very quickly. I'm very impressed with when I put in an order with Trek. Next thing you know, that bike is arriving at my shop within a few days, but it also depends on what warehouse. I try to order out of the Wisconsin warehouse. And believe me, when I do one bike at a time, I don't meet that minimum threshold for shipping. So it costs me a lot more to do one bike at a time, but it also keeps me from having to put literally hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of inventory in my shop. So any of you guys that work in the Trek warehouse, man, you're doing an awesome job. I appreciate you guys working so hard. I'd love to meet you guys someday. And God, you know who I really want to meet is the media guys, the guys that pay attention to the YouTube videos and stuff. And my channel is small, but I don't do a whole lot of video editing. It's just kind of organic. And this is what's happening in the bike shop industry today. Hey, if any of you guys know, I don't want to bring any more brands in right now because, I'm trying to watch my dollars, but for other bike shops out there, if you've got brands that you're working with that work good with you, hey, let me know. I'm not really interested in bringing in more brands right now, but it is nice to know what brands treat dealers good. We'll see good things from Cannondale, I'm sure. And Trek, you make good bikes, man. I'm proud to be riding senior bikes, and I'm going to be putting them to the test. Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube, Biloxi Bicycle Works. Little insight on what's going on in the bike shop today, beginning of March.